Hey guys, welcome back to the Birdbrain podcast. It's me, Envy, along with my gracious co-hosts. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves again? Because it's been a bit.
Heyo, I'm jcollins.
Hey, it's Clay here.
All right. So this is more of an interview we're going to be doing because both of these guys went to the great Steel City Spectacular that happened a couple weeks ago. And I was unfortunately not able to go, but I'm just going to be interviewing these lovely gents about this, how the event went and stuff. So, how was Pittsburgh when you guys went there?
I'd say we got some pretty decent food.
Muggy.
It's muggy.
You live in Portland. You cannot complain about mugginess.
Oh, it was so muggy.
I guess I haven't really been on that side of the US, so I wouldn't really know how different weather-wise it is up there, but I guess that's fair.
There was one day where I think it was Sunday, came out of the hall for some food after the end of the main event, and it was just absolute downpouring, and then about 5 minutes later, sun shining like nothing happened. So maybe the muggy claim is not as far-fetched as I would like to claim it to be, but
yeah, sounds about right for the area. I'm
you're right off the water, right off the river there at Anchorage Center. It is muggy and sweaty. I put brand new sleeves on for the event. They barely made it through the event. I changed them when I got home. It was just muggy. Like, it wasn't bad by any means. The area was questionable at best to walk around by that convention center. You couldn't walk down the street without somebody asking you for money every 5 seconds, like literally everyone. But the hotel was nice. The other hotel across the street was even nicer. I know a lot of people ended up staying there. The hall itself was spacious and very well air conditioned inside the building. So I mean, it was good in that regards and everything about it. Yeah.
The concessions weren't terrible either. Lots of vendors to sell cards to. Too many signed cards to look to for Envy. Despite the fact that he was not there. And I found a couple shiny things, but you know.
That's fair. I've been buying too much signed cardboard anyway recently. It's all good. So if I remember right, this event was one of the biggest CDH events that we've come to have in recent memory, right? There was 436? The biggest to date?
514.
514, but there was a couple double dippers in the attendance list.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, it's still the biggest. At 400, I think it's the biggest, right?
I'm seeing 504 actual people with lists that played.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is still hell yeah, fuck yeah. You know?
It was every event has problems. Don't get me wrong. I'm not even gonna touch on the problems with the co-event that was run at the same time. Like, that's not our focus. The event was good. It was well run. I mean, I personally have some issues with some of the ways it was run, but nothing that would stop me from going to set an event again or telling people to not go. The event was good. They had stuff going on. They had the vendors. They could have had better concessions, but even if you didn't eat there was food relatively close.
Yeah,
there was you're in the middle of downtown. There was an awesome taco bar 2 blocks away that was really good. I had lunch there one day. You had a couple bigger restaurants down the way. You could DoorDash something. We went and had sandwiches for dinner.
We had cultural icon Primanti Bros.
Yeah. So I mean, there's nothing wrong in that regards. Nothing I would say, hey, this is terrible. Don't touch this. Obviously, every event has flaws. I just think that the good things of this event outweighed the bad things by far.
And There was so much at that event from what I heard, because I know that they were doing like a legacy event. Also, they
There
were
was
doing
Legacy,
like
there was Vintage, there were 2 CDH qualifiers, there was obviously the 20K main event, there was the Invitational. Yeah, there was a few things going on. They had
Yeah,
draft firing on demand. They had
they
old
ran it like a
school.
convention.
Yeah.
They
yeah,
ran it like a con.
which is pretty cool. I mean, like as because I the only other like CDH cons that we really have are like SCG cons, and like those aren't like actual like CDH cons. Like they're just like big magic things that just
Yeah.
happen to have a CDH event.
That's how I feel because like my friends want me to go to like MagicCon Atlanta, and I'm like, that'd be cool and it'd be awesome, but the only format I play is not a thing that's featured there. So it's kind of hard for me. So I go to the big CDH event where the only format I play is the main event and I can enjoy myself. And it just so happens that me and Clay did kind of okay. So
I mean, I only lost one game, and I lost one game to another player punting.
Yeah, I was about to actually go into that. How did your guys' actual event go? Like, what was your records?
I went 2, 3, and 3 for a total of 13 points. I had wins in round 1 and 8.
I was 2-1-5. I was struggling to close out games. The one game I did lose, I honestly, a Magda player had the answers 100% and chose not to use them. A Jeskai player casts gifts on the instep. They don't red blast it. They cast silence in their upkeep. They don't Tybalt's trickery it. And I still almost stopped the win. Yeah. Just a punt, and that was my loss. Nothing I could do about it. I shut down most of the table, and when Veil of Summering a Chain of Vapor into an Otawara into flashing out a Dranith is not good enough to stop your opponent from breaching. Yeah.
Now, if I remember right, the event was what 7 or was it 8 rounds?
8 rounds.
7 or 8 rounds.
6
It was
rounds
8
on day
rounds over
1.
two,
Uh, 2 rounds on day 2. You needed 7 points
and
to make
then
it to day 2.
cut to top 16 after that.
Yes.
Which I know that was a bit of a contention point too, because everyone was saying that since this event was so large, they could have probably made it a top 32, which would have been interesting. Also,
I've seen top 32, top 40. Some people argue that the day 2 7-point cut is arguably that, but ultimately, you either get to it was 21 points for the bubble, I believe, because Ian got 17th and it was in shambles, as anyone would be. But I digress.
Yeah,
all right,
20.
yeah, but that's probably something that they'll probably have to like look into because I know Excalibur is going to be hosting like they're doing the other big event and Thanksgiving in New
Frenzy at the
York, right?
Falls. Yeah,
Yeah.
Niagara Falls.
Hot take. 16, top 16 is the way to leave it. Because it completely de-incentivizes draws. You will not be able to draw yourself into the top 16 in that
Yeah, I mean,
event.
I could definitely see that too. Like I'm perfectly fine with that. I was just knowing that was a bit of a contention point was with the amount of people there that top 32 was something that they talked about.
It was relevant because
which
you
is
still got
interesting.
paid. You still got paid. Up to payout up to top 32. 17th to 32 got $100, which was your entry fee back.
Oh, okay.
Because I know that
So, I
once
mean,
I
they
was dead, I
basically
was like, "Oh, maybe I can get my money back," and I was like, "Ah,
yeah. No, that's fair. All right.
I mean, I had a goal for day 1. I didn't make the goal for day 1. So
but how did you guys try to prep for the event? Because I know you guys were like knowing as soon as they like announced this typically that you guys knew you were going to this event. Like how did you guys try to prep for it?
maybe prep isn't one of my strong suits because I don't think that I do anything like exceptionally different. It probably doesn't help. This is the only deck I play, but like the normal decks that I expected to see at this event and the decks that I actually did see at this event are the decks that I see normally. being so close to Pittsburgh in the Midwest, there was quite a large number of people that I knew there that I saw and performed well. Um, but really, I was expecting rock dresses. I was expecting blue farms. I was expecting, you know, cradle dot deck. I even saw a dog dress at one point, but I see these things in my monthly tournaments, so it's like, okay, I don't need to change a whole lot. It's just do my standard practice, make sure I get my practice in, and don't forget my shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I prep it the same way I prep for every tournament, which is just play. But before a big event, one big thing I do that is contrary to prep is I stop playing Derevi from the time I get on the plane to the time I start the first round of the tournament. It's to clear my head, not be thinking about it, and then buckle down when I start playing. But the other thing I do is I have a bad habit of changing my deck list right up to the very last minute.
Oh yeah.
So
Confirm. Did help you.
Yeah, I were you on the plane like thinking about what to cut or something? Was that
yes.
this event or was that fishbowl?
Oh, that's every event. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I
Fishbowl
have
was
things
going
I
through
wanna
his deck
put- I
and
have
cutting
things I wanna-
things. This one was on the plane cutting things.
Yeah. So
no.
it does help. It does, like, what I'm doing is looking for teching. I'm doing my teching and my swapping and my trying to figure out my metagame. And the problem with going into a big event like this is you really can't guess what the
Yeah.
metagame's going to be. But I ended up actually kind of picking correct, so I felt good about that.
Yeah, I was actually gonna ask, did you guys end up like teching something specific, or did you like swap out like packages? Like, did you do anything specific going into the open meta that was Steel City, or did you kind of just do what you normally do? And
We'll send gut check.
So, gut check. I don't remember what the second. At this point, it's been so long. I don't remember what the second card I recommended was, but there were two cards I recommended, which were Dranith and something else. Needed to be in our lists for this event, and I believe Jake actually listened and went up Dranith. I'm not sure. Did you?
I've been on Dranith. I've not been down Dranith.
Oh, okay. You didn't go down Dranith. Okay, but anyway,
was it Aetherborn? Is that when you?
No, Aetherborn was already in my list, and I didn't cut it for this. Aetherborn's just generically good as a stacks piece. It gives you a good odds in late seats to get back into the game because it slows the whole game down to a slog. And the math of fourth seat is that you want a 6-turn game so that your odds are better to win. But I did put Dranith back in, and it turned out to be good. I literally saw a blue farm deck in every round, including one round with 2.
That surprised me.
So yeah. Now I'm trying to remember.
I'm wondering, maybe it was Linvala?
No, I didn't go up Linvala. Linvala isn't the...
Sadly down Linvala for this event. I was just checking. I actually hadn't changed my list for about 2 months prior to this event. Got to get that consistent testing in. But also the sets that came out, nothing new had crazy sparked up. It looks like it was finally the nail in the coffin for training grounds for me, though. I took it out as soon as I got home.
Yeah, I actually cut training grounds when I switched over to the kitten package. I swapped it out.
Yeah, I mean, how's your Yisan package been going, huh?
Oh, so I guess this is a good somewhat segue for me. I topped 4 my locals the week after you guys did Steel City. And this was when I was combining both the Yisan package and the kitten package. And it was pretty combo. It was pretty good. Having just being able to use Bright Glass as a focal point, and then using either Yisan to assemble your combo or Birthing Pod to assemble your combo, both centering around Bright Glass, has been pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Strix Serenade was the other card.
Oh, yes. I do remember us talking about Strix. Strix is good. I don't think any of us went up it for Steel City, but,
I did.
Oh, you did?
But,
did you find purchase with it?
Oh, absolutely. So what I kind of the impetus for both of those cards, and was that I was expecting to walk into this format with trimming into the more turbo decks in the meta. We were going to have possibly a lot of Atalis. Rals are starting to pop up a little bit more. Rog's is kind of making a little bit of a resurgence. But I was also expecting a lot of breach decks, and that the Rog Thras decks are actually breach decks. And then Blue Farm being good old staple deck. So the idea was to be able to go and play the Dranith that is good against that entire field. The reason I've always cut Dranith is because if you don't get him out early, he's not great. But
Yeah.
when we start looking at that kind of a field, just having that in your toolbox is really good. I left Aethersworn Canonist in because I felt like having two of the effects was going to be better for me. And then Strict Serenade is weird because it's not a proactive counterspell. You can't use it to advance your own game plan very well, but it hits a lot of good targets, and nobody really kind of expects you to be on it because it's just not a good counterspell overall because it can't be used proactively. But the having an extra counterspell that can hit creatures was very powerful. I think I saw it twice. Both times I ended up using it to affect. One time was a Final Fortune turn Thoracle. Oh, here's the Strict Serenade on your Thoracle. Can we move on with our lives into winning that game? And another time, I think I countered a Kefka. I don't even remember, but it was something I just did not want to see. But the biggest weakness of our deck is Opposition Agent. 100%. We are tutor chain galore. And while Opposition Agent isn't played a lot, having another answer to Opposition Agent in the list feels good. Almost to the point that maybe we should be going back up to 2 creature removal pieces in both Path and Swords. But I find that hard because now I'm dedicating slots to be not proactive, and I start to wonder if that's where we want to be or not.
Solitude is the answer you're looking for, my friend.
But Solitude's the same thing. It just, the only difference is it can be cast for free.
Correct.
And it's a creature, so it's harder to counter, but...
I use it for some niche applications like Evolving Polywog Prodigy sometimes because it's got a 3 power, which most people don't think about. But otherwise, yes, is a non-creature based, or is a creature-based Sword Splashers, obviously.
Yeah.
I've been liking the suite that I've been using with having Static Prison being able to be fetched off of Bright Glass, the Path, and then some bounce spells has been working okay for me. But obviously things... Yeah, Static Prisons has been great.
Static Prison's definitely on my radar.
I was able to... I had a Static Prison in my hand during one of the games that I won in my locals, and I convinced a Loomer player to let me draw a High Fate Trickster off my Ristic Study because I Worldly Tutored for it, and I flashed it in during a Breach turn, and I was able to Static Prison the Breach. And then I proceeded to win going into that turn. It was pretty good. But I know hindsight is 2020, but is there anything that you wish that you had brought to the event? Like any card, like you're like, man, I actually kind of wish I would have teched up this piece.
Not particularly, no. I felt pretty good on my list. I only placed 103rd out of 504 players, but I was pretty satisfied with my performance. There was a couple things that I did as a pilot that I could have fixed, but as far as deck construction goes, I felt pretty solid.
That's good.
I don't really think there was anything I feel like I should have added. Pretty good about that. Maybe I shouldn't have cut something I did. I'm not. I think. I think I cut Valley Flood Caller, and maybe I regret that. Because it's just so easy to jam a win with it. but otherwise, yeah, I don't feel like I cut or left anything out that um, I think was really important at the end of the day. I did also tech in like consign to memory, and it definitely was a good card in my list for the event. I countered a basalt monolith with it at one point, um, and I mean I used it on something that was triggered. I don't remember what, but it was never really dead per se. But the fact that it doesn't hit activated abilities, I ended up cutting it just after the event. Yeah, I don't really feel like there's anything I needed. I definitely was inspired post event to make some changes. I did cut Fabro Elder,
Yeah,
and
I know you've
I
been like really into a new era of building your deck recently. You've been doing
oh,
some like pretty crazy changes.
yeah, nothing is sacred. I'm looking for that new sauce, but nothing is sacred. I did cut Faber Elder. I don't feel bad about that. My deck has always been slanted more towards the slam the single card win con and find the win, and Fabro doesn't really play into that because at 3 mana, Fabro actually just slows me down a full turn. Whereas my other 3 drops are accelerating me to a win.
I could definitely see that. I know Jake's and I's list is a little bit slower than yours now, so I think that makes perfect sense to be able to cut that.
At post event, I added Cruel Captain back in, or in.
Ezra, yeah.
Yeah, in that slot. But
We'll have to know how that has been going. Like, have you played in, or has it come up yet since you've used it?
yeah, they didn't like me. They interrupted my combo by I don't even remember what they did. They killed Kitten, killed Derevi. I don't remember. They killed something on my
Yeah.
board and interrupted my combo, and then Combat Step killed the Tezzeret on the same turn cycle because they did not like it.
All right. So I know it's been a couple weeks, but do you remember how any of your games like specifically went? Were there any like spicy decks that you saw that you want to throw out there? Like, do you remember how like the games that you won, like how you got there?
I had a very awesome win line into a very unfortunate game two. Uh, Round one, I'm seated in second seat against seat one was Marnius Calgar. Seat three was Paco Halden, which was fun to see. And then seat four was a Blue Farm. And I ended up stalling that game out with being infinite with a meal, but not actually having an outlet. But I had cloned a Rev Tithe Taker from Marnius, which gives your creatures kind of like a Ragavan esque static ability.
Yeah.
And I ended up stealing Nexus of Fate from Paco and Holland twice to kill the table with combat damage. And I didn't recognize the card at first because it exiles it face down. And this individual had their Nexus of Fate in Russian foil. So I had to look at the card for a second. And then when I realized what it was, I kind of just went, oh shit. And the table kind of saw me, the light bulb click on in my brain in real time. And they go, oh, what did you get? And I was like, oh, just Nexus of Fate with 2 Mana Vault triggers on the stack. So yeah, I'll just cast that and hit you again. But that's how I ended up winning that round. And then I went and bought my Final Fantasy City of Brass to celebrate kicking off the tournament well. And then round 2, I turned to for Nature's Rhythm for 4 to get Sisei and shuffled my hand into my deck, which is a terrible, terrible error. Don't do that. Worst judge call of my life. The correction for that is previous player in turn order, or furthest away from you in turn order, technically. Once you determine how many cards were in your hand, they just go through your deck and pick the cards they give you. So, prior to, because I wrote down the card, like my opening hand, and the cards, like I mulled the 6, I could tell you every single card that was in my hand. But the judges can't take that information because I could be cheating. I could put like, oh, I have the most cracked ass magical Christmas hand land ever. Shucks, I didn't win on turn 1, but Yeah, so what ended up happening was we determined that there were 2 cards in my hand left, and this Kinnan pilot gave me Force of Will and Mindbreak Trap because we were on the beginning of turn 3. The blue farm player in seat 1 was clearly in a position to push, and he's like, well, we're going to force a draw with this. And lo and behold, with a brain freeze and a storm trigger resolved, I Mindbreak trapped the brain freeze away, and we drew the game. So somewhat good ending for a draw, but holy shit, I fucked that game with shuffling my hand into my deck.
I bet that blue farm player was ticked off a little bit but
A little bit, but he wasn't. He seemed pretty chill about it. I had an interesting. It was Aranis in the Street Urchin background deck in that pod. It's a combo Snoop
yeah.
Goblin Recruiter line. So it was like turn 2. I had Captain Sisay out. They had Goblin Recruitered. Blue Farm was wanting to go off, and then Kinnan had just like a decent amount of mana. So we're like, oh well, the first person to go off is going to eat all the interaction, and then it's just going to be a race from there. So like we just stuff the person who tries to go off first, and we draw. So
I don't really remember my games at this point. I've played enough since then that I don't remember too terribly much. I do remember a game with a blue farm player jamming into double Ristics from myself and a Kinnan, and then the Kinnan player getting the next turn after we stopped the blue farm's final fortune turn, and just like flipping out at the fact that both I and the fourth player in the pod still had interaction to stop them, and basically asking the fourth seed order player to let them continue on their attempts to win after they'd been stopped a couple times at this point with their whole deck in their hand, because I would win on my next turn. And I'm like, then don't put a win on the stack. And they continued to try to put wins on the stack, and the fourth player countered them, and it was great. And then, of course, I won because, well, I had my deck in my hands. But yeah,
it did also have a double Derevi pod at one point.
Ooh,
nice.
I played against Dan Brown. Shout out Dan Brown.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I know you two, and then Dan were there. Was it? Do you remember if there was anyone else?
There were 5 total decks. We don't know the other 2. Me and Clay did the best of the 5.
Yeah.
Clay got 69th. I got 103rd. Dan Brown got 101st. And then Daniel Rido got 227, and William Carafellis got 445. I'm sure I butchered these gentlemen's names. I apologize, fellow bird pilots, but thank you for bringing the deck.
I haven't even looked at their lists yet. Were there any anything? I know Dan's on some subtlety loop stuff with Moogle and stuff like that, but were the other 2 decks on anything specific?
I'm looking
anything?
One of them's on Twister, which seems odd, but Mr. William Carafellis was on Twister, and Mr. Daniel has fell on Preston Felidar, running to spell. Nothing groundbreaking here, but what's tried and true.
Yeah, I gotcha. Kind of shows that we kind of just do this as we go, because I didn't even think about asking about these things.
Clay, I want you to gush about Phoenix Down, Clay.
I didn't see any game you played it in the event, but it is. I like the tech. It was very nice for resiliency when you got stopped. I was rather enjoying the play lines that opened up when you did play it in that casual game. I just think it's an awesome piece of tech, but I don't know. I'm not sure if it's quite good enough without a different focus for the deck. And I do think that's one of the things that we've got kind of going somewhat wrong in Derevi is I think we haven't really adapted to the fact that there are three Derevi archetypes instead of two, and we're all kind of trying to branch the archetypes, and I think that's where we're struggling from a deck build perspective, is that we're trying to force our deck to do two things as opposed to streamlining it to do the one thing. And that's what I'm working on now with the cutting all the sacred cows and stuff. Is what is the limit I can push the deck to be a tempo outpace the table control deck, and where is the back step that becomes the big mana mid range grind deck, and then is there still room for a stacks Derevi list using like single card win cons like Yisan to win the game on a regular?
Yeah, that's gonna be especially interesting because I know there are some new stuff in like Spider-Man that actually like, kind of help the stacks deck out a little bit actually. Like I know there's the blind obedience on a creature, which is interesting. So it's gonna be interesting to see how we go from here, especially with I know you're brewing your or you're testing out your new version of the deck, and I know I'm testing a couple of new things. I'm always like just trying to find like spice and stuff like that to test out. But it's gonna be interesting to see where we go from here. I was also going to ask because I know we were like right before. I think it was. I don't remember if this was right before we did Steel City or not, but we had just hopped on to the Nature's Chosen train with Bright Glass. Did you guys put that into your list before that or not? I don't remember.
I bought a copy at Steel City. I'm on it now. I believe I've only cast it once. And the one time I've cast it so far, I fucked it up. So good job me. But I'm liking it.
I played it at Steel City. It is definitely one of the toolbox cards for Bright Glass. I've cut it in my current testing iteration, but that has nothing to do with Nature's Chosen itself, and everything to do with the focus of my current testing iteration, which is to say that I think Nature's Chosen very much belongs in the more mid-rangey grind variants of the deck, because honestly it's just a good card.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we weren't on it before, to be honest with you. It seems kind of like, especially with the Bright Glass
It belongs
stuff that we added in.
Yeah, it fits pretty well.
Yeah, I don't really like necessarily putting it on Derevi, because Derevi kind of has a big target, and the Dog Thrash Shell's the deck that started playing it first. I mean, I've known the card existed, but I never really thought about it for Cradle Untapper, and I've never been focused on Cradle Untapping in Derevi. So the use of it there, it makes more sense with Yoshimaru, just because he kind of sits around and isn't really a target. Whereas Derevi, nobody wants you to let you keep Derevi. Derevi's got a bullseye on the back of her head. Everyone wants Derevi gone. But as you look a little bit deeper at the list, like there's a lot of just good targets to stick it on. Like Delney has a target, but you stick Delney on the board. Aethersworn Canonist, any of your silence creatures, Esper Sentinel. Yeah,
Bright
so
Glass
you got
itself.
Yeah, Bright Glass is a pretty good one.
Yeah, exactly. You could fetch it up and put it on Bright Glass. When I originally swapped it, I swapped Concordant Crossroads out for it. And that was just because I think I pulled Sisei at the same time. And I would say that it's perfectly good as a Bright Glass toolbox card. But I think one of the problems that I'm seeing from the community is that people are just shoving Bright Glass toolbox cards into their deck. And that's a mistake, because you're going to dilute your deck with a bunch of toolbox cards, which is cool. But if you're not focused on your synergy still, you're gonna have mistakes. So, for instance, I think I've put you on to using Concordant Crossroads with Yisan
Yeah.
because it makes a good exit. So if you're playing things like Yisan, Bloom Tender, Sisei, then you want Concordant Crossroads in your toolbox. If you're playing less of those cards, then Nature's Chosen is going to probably provide you better in your toolbox cards as you pivot around Emil and just needing that burst of mana, because that's a lot of what the Bright Glass toolbox is. It's the utility we need. It provides removal, it provides card draw, and it provides mana, whichever one you happen to need at the time. And Nature's Chosen is just another way to get that mana in those games where playing mana rocks might not be the correct choice.
I mean, I've still thought about it like in my list specifically because like just being able to grab it during your Bright Glass Kitten Storm turn, just being able to just fetch it and then just untap and go from there. Like it just gives it's just a not like a cantrip, but like a just like a somewhat of a ritual depending on what you have out.
Yeah, and maybe you should be playing both it and Concordant
Yeah.
Crossroads, but that all just comes down to synergy on which cards you play. I think Training Grounds
Also,
is not a playable card.
yeah, I already
Um,
cut Training Grounds,
uh,
so
Yep, same.
so I don't think that is playable.
actually,
And I
I always
like
forget the first line of it. It doesn't it let you untap stuff too for its
you can
first line?
untap
Land
you can
creature
untap the
artifacts.
creature itself. Yeah, you can untap the creature itself once per turn on your turn.
Yeah, yeah.
And then once per turn, you can untap a land creature or artifact if the enchanted creature is white.
I mean, also just slapping it on like Yisan by itself, just getting a free on tap on it is also just not like the worst thing.
Yeah,
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 you can use it as a
absolutely.
ritual. You can use it to untap Pod. You can use it to untap Cradle for burst mana. You could use it to untap Orrery as well. I don't think that's what the plan is with Orrery, but you could.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely. I played it as a ritual from Bright Glass. Was why it was being played because generically speaking, it generates like 6 mana when you cast
Yeah.
it on Bright Glass in the combo lines. Or it gives you a route that allows you to untap your pod post combat if you've already used your combat untap without having to activate Derevi back into play. It's a single green mana to untap pod.
Yep.
So
Yeah. I mean, that's partially why I wanted to look back at it, just being able to just like throw it on bright glass, untap pod, and then just being able to either pod a 3 you already have out or just letting Derevi untap mana and then going there. Or I guess untapping with Nature's Chosen is the same thing as untapping with Derevi, but still, it's interesting.
timing is
That
different.
yeah,
Notably, Nature's Chosen can be used to double activate Isan, whereas
Orrery cannot.
Derevi cannot. Well,
mhm.
it can from the command zone, but
Yeah, it's
that's
also
splitting
a.
hairs.
It lets you hit Wish Claws. It lets you hit. I was just going to say that it's a non-creature spell for Displacer Kitten as well. So you get 2 blinks out of that effectively because you're untapping one permanent and then you blink the other permanent to effectively untap it. So it's quite synergistic.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely one of the playable toolbox cards uh, for Bright Glass, and it's one of the more uh, non-committal to whatever lines you're playing. Whereas Concordant Crossroads is committal to the Sisseys and the Yisans and the Bloom Tenders and the sandbagging late game lines. So
Well, as we are about probably to wrap this up, are you guys testing anything new going forward? I know Clay, you were talking about Tezzeret and a lot of stuff. Jake, are you testing anything new or?
I have ideas. I don't know if I've implemented them necessarily yet. I definitely want to kind of build against Mayhem Devil right now because I feel like that's my number one threat. But I'm kind of looking into how I want to deal with that.
Yeah, I know we were mentioning stuff about that earlier. I know you had a couple ideas. but nothing or anything else that you wanted to throw out, or just
Not
the
at this
mayhem double
time.
stuff.
Nope. Looking
Okay.
forward to
Anything?
seeing you at a big event in October.
Yeah, that's gonna be it's gonna be fun. I'm excited.
So I'm playing. The gist of my current testing is ritual.deck. I'm playing a bunch of cards that could be rituals in Bant, as opposed to rituals in Grixis. So the build around the Grixis is, you're playing your Rite of Flames, you're playing your Dark Ritual, you're playing your Cling the Weak. Well, I'm playing Cloud of Fairies, I'm playing Energy Tap, I'm playing Summoner's Pact and Elvish Spirit Guide. I I'm playing LED. I'm playing things that you just don't see in our lists to accelerate my mana. At the same time, I'm playing around multiple single card win con lines. In that, Spellseeker wins the game, Transit Mage wins the game, ideally Emil wins the game, Kitten wins the game, that kind of
Yeah.
build out around stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's just about getting that mana faster, getting that mana earlier. So I have three different kitten combos. So Kitten plus Teferi is a combo, Kitten plus Tezzeret is a combo, Kitten plus Bright Glass Gearhulk is a combo. Then I've got Emil, and I've got two combos that revolve around Emil, which is Cloud of Fairies and Derevi itself. And then I've got the chaining ways to get to those combos in Spellseeker and Transit Mage, and then Spellseeker and Transit Mage combine with Finale and Rhythm and Neoform and Eldritch Evolution and Wargate to just increase the density of my cards that can create those combo lines. Just any one of these cards can pivot my deck to be a win attempt. I took out some of the slower ones, so I'm not on Sisei, I'm not on Yisan. Those cards are both very, very, very powerful, but they are a little bit slower. I've been on Energy Tap. Its worst scenario for me is that it's a single blue to produce two colorless. I'm on the fence on whether Ori stays in the list or the One Ring stays in the list, or both. So that's kind of where I'm at with my testing. Is just it's just about pivoting around those central points in the deck and how dense can I make the play lines around those cards.
I gotcha. That's definitely definitely an interesting take, especially because I know we talked about you cutting the One Ring before too, but I mean I guess if
Not
you're going
currently
to
on my list.
yeah, um, but especially because those have been such a core parts of our deck for a long time. One Ring has been a core part of our deck since it got
printed.
released. Yeah, and then when Ian introduced us to the Orrery tech, that's just been a core part of our deck. So just switching it up is gonna be very, very interesting. So we'd like to maybe next time we record something, like to hear how that came up from there.
Yeah, I mean, it really is the whole "there's no sacred cow" concept.
Yeah.
I maybe these cards make it back in before my next event. Maybe they make it back in
Yeah.
before an event in October. But when I'm playtesting, nothing is sacred. The stuff could come out. My actual playtest list is only 99 cards. I mean, I have another card in, but it's Sink into Stupor. So it's okay, I can remove that if I want. And I have a couple cards that I want to get back in. But yeah, I'm just jamming games when I can. And it's interesting because maybe I need to cut Ori and Phyrexian Metamorph. Maybe just Flesh Duplicate and Mockingbird is plenty of clones. I mean, I've always said the correct density of clones is 2 to 4.
Yeah.
And maybe Metamorph needs to come out. I don't find myself neoforming for Metamorph anymore. I don't find that being the correct play line. Most of the time, if I've hit the Neoform or hit the pod, going to Metamorph is no longer necessary. It used to be our 4-mana outlet, but Bright Glass does that now. So I don't need the extra card in Metamorph. It's still super flexible. The ability to clone, artifacts and clone One Rings and stuff, like, it's still a good card, but it's more that slow, grindy game plan. And I don't think that's where the metagame wants to be. I feel like my biggest takeaway from Steel City is that I don't feel like I was fast enough because I kept drawing to time. I could not present wins even with protection before the 80-minute plus 20-minute turn timer would expire on a game. And I felt like that the big pivotal change in the tournament structure is that 20-minute overtime timer, and I wanted to scream in multiple games because I had judges standing there watching, and I could just feel the time just draining as people are trying to politic over the top of something instead of just, come on guys, let's go.
Yeah.
But the judges are standing there watching the game and not and just that 20-minute overtime, I believe, is going to plague a lot of draws if you can't close your games out yourself faster.
Yeah, I understand why that they're doing that, but I don't know how I feel about it. Because time is like the biggest thing for these events. Like, if anyone listening who has not played in an actual like big event, like, these games or some of these games without like actual like cutoff times can last a long time. Like, they can go like to 2 hours or 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Like, I've had to wait like that long between
13
games.
hours.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
the
we just
finals
had- yeah,
was
we
like
just
4 hours,
yeah.
I think, for Steel City. Obviously, Clay's hitting you with the meme of the 12-hour finals for what was it?
No, I
Salt
was just
City.
saying like I was just saying in general, just like, not
They can
even
get
including
long.
like they can
Usually
get
everything's
fairly long.
timed up until finals. Even semifinals are timed these days, I'm finding. That'll obviously vary depending on your tournament organizer.
Yeah, I don't have any issues with like the actual like round being time. It's just the final turn is more because you get to the point where like kind of how Clay was mentioning, like, just politics get a little crazy because everyone's just trying to push for that draw and it's kind of just wasting time. Like, I actually had that happen at my my event. One of the games I actually lost, we were trying to force a Kinnan player to play through his entire loop for his Fairy Mastermind to try to force us to go to time.
Yeah, that's just being a dick.
It wasn't
Don't get
me.
me wrong.
No, it wasn't me that was doing it. It was a Stacks player that was forcing him to do it. But like, like, if he's gonna force him to do that, then I'm not gonna fight that. But it's just, if the time turns wasn't like that, then we wouldn't really have to that issue, because it'd be just like, okay, if it's gonna go to time during his turn,
Well,
then it's fine.
I haven't had that one happen yet, but I think the 20-minute add-on is gonna cause that. I think you're gonna see a little bit more of
Yeah.
that.
I still think that's
And it's
due
gonna
to
be about how
people.
concisely.
It's for people playing to not lose rather than playing to win. I think that's a player issue rather than a time issue. Because you'll have
It's all
people
the
that go
same.
to force the draw even when it's not beneficial to them because they don't understand how point systems work sometimes. But I definitely did see a little bit of that, and it had, in my opinion, nothing to do with the 20-minute timer. Just that was just a problem. That is, people don't play to win.
Yeah.
They'll watch
Yeah.
the channel, but that's a bad pun.
Yeah.
But I guess the only thing I'm really like testing out currently, the only big change I'm doing is Unsettled Mariner. So far when I've seen it, it's actually been like really decent. I had it come up during my semifinals match, where I was able to power out a Unsettled Mariner with a Delny, and then my opponents couldn't Pyroblast my Derevi because it costed 2, which was funny. And then I was able to go into a win with that. So, but other than that, Sounds like we are all kind of just like testing new stuff, which is just great.
I wouldn't call Unsettled Mariner new.
Getting ready
Well,
for
I mean,
the
like,
new top deck season.
I mean, like, that's just the new thing I'm trying out.
It's
what
new
I'm
to
saying.
him.
I haven't played with the card.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at you guys. You guys
Well,
starting
especially
to play
because
test the cards that
you were,
I've play
yeah.
tested, and moved away from. But you're also playtesting the cards that I'm moving away from, saying this card is not the right fit for my deck, and not the cards that I'm saying that I'm moving away from, saying you shouldn't be playing these cards.
Well, I mean, like
So-
before, I was testing Kona out in my last event, and like it's okay, but like,
Yeah,
it,
Kona's
it's
one of those
like
cards you shouldn't be playing. That's my
Yeah, I
it's
think
got
Kona's a little
it's
too
got
slow.
yeah, it's got the highest highs and the lowest lows because I was able to like back to back cheat in Ori, which is funny because I had an Ori. I cheated in Ori at turn 3, and then I had it bounce, and then I cheated it back into play,
Well,
which
so
is
CDH
funny.
is
But
all about the lows. It's all
yeah,
about the floor
yeah.
on a card. So
But yeah, it was just mostly I was just trying to find new stuff to try, and that was what I was gonna go with. But it's out of the deck now, so. But that will be it for today. I appreciate you guys giving me your insight about how Steel City went. Hopefully, when we have our next podcast, Jake and I will be at, was it Commander Palooza? Is that what the event's called? It's a Time Twister event?
Yes, correct. It's hosted by Mom's Basement Games in the Detroit area. October 25th. It's a Time Twister event. If you're anywhere near the Midwest, come hang out. Come jam.
And I think that same week, is that same week in Fishbowl?
It
Yes.
is.
It's also happening.
If you're
Okay,
in the
'cause-
Midwest, come to Commander Palooza. If you're not in the Midwest, go to Fishbowl.
Yeah, because I know.
Obviously, we're a big country, so we can do both.
Yeah,
It's okay.
we have a lot. Yeah, but yeah, if anyone's there, glad to see you there. If not, we get it. It's fair. But appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me about this.
Of course. And of course, thank you to everyone that takes their time to listen to our episodes. Be sure to like and follow. Check out our platforms on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course here on YouTube as well. So thank you, everyone, and have a good night.
don't forget to bring Steel Enchantment with you.
Yes.
And Force of Vigor. Make those cards real. Good night.
Night.